bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and heroes. Gonna tell you about
comic books, costumes,
facts, boots,
and other stuff.
In this week's issue, Gideon Falls and DC Fandome.
Welcome into Bros, Foes, and Heroes. I am Zach, joined by the, I'm going to say Ace the Bat Hound to my Crypto the Super Dog.
Oh, boy.
Mike.
Ace, wait a minute. Ace the Bat Hound?
Ace the Bat Hound. We're going DC Super Pets, and there's a reason why.
I never knew what the name of that dog was.
Yeah.
I knew Super Hound? Is that what you said?
No, Ace the Bat Hound.
Ace the Bat Hound, but Super Dog.
It's, It's,
right?
Calypto, right? Oh, now you're having me.
I don't know, man.
Well, I had it. It's the Super Dog. It doesn't really matter that much. If I get it wrong, it's what it is.
The only time that I think that thing ever showed up was on Super Friends.
Well, they're making.
Yeah.
And that's part of the reason why I did it. It is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's computer animated. And
like
we'll save
Paw
this.
Patrol.
Yeah, but Paw Patrol might be more entertaining. But we'll get to why all that, because this is, I know we talked about staying with Halloween themes through October, and we're still going to do that.
Sure.
But there was a big event yesterday in the world of DC in DC Fandome. So we're also going to talk about some of the new stuff that's coming out DC-wise.
DC Fandome has been virtual for what, like 3 years now or something?
I think last year was the first year. This is the second year.
Oh, okay.
But I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
Because I can get all the Comic-Con content then from my house.
Mm-hmm.
Now, hopefully.
Well, I know this year is one of the first years it seems like everybody has accepted, it's just cool stuff.
Yeah.
Last year people were like pissed off.
I mean, obviously with the way we grow, with the way the world goes, things change.
The way we grew up in the last 2 years.
Exactly.
Sure.
Like, I'm just saying, the way things happen, it's the same thing that, our nation had to do last time we had a pandemic like this with the Spanish. Yeah. Like, you have to make changes and sacrifices and things.
Sure, we had to get our comic book news out by horse-drawn carriage at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, no. Superman was still not around for like another 20 years. So, but
I like to say he's always been with us.
Oh, he is.
Sure.
Right here. Right. And it's great for an audio podcast that I'm pointing at my heart.
Pointing to your heart.
Where listeners can for sure see it. So we will talk about DC Fandome. I'm probably going to save all that stuff towards the second half of the podcast. Okay. Right. And we'll just dive into Gideon Falls, which is our first book. And
Gideon's Falls sounds like a great place. It sounds fun.
It's not. It's not at all. Like most places with names like that, you would think, do you ever drive through small towns, Mike, and you see the name and you think to yourself, something shady could go on here. Yeah. Gideon Falls has a name like that.
There's Cutter, Texas, and there's something named after like shotguns, but I can't remember what it's called.
There's Gun Barrel.
Gun Barrel, that's it.
Well, there is a murder that happened in Gun Barrel, Texas. Yeah. There was a woman who was like her fifth husband.
Surprise.
Well, she like killed him and like used a backhoe and buried him on the back behind their house kind of thing.
Yeah, she was thinking ahead.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, there has been murder in Gun Barrel, Texas. So
I don't doubt it.
Good to think of that. But Gideon Falls is one of those small towns that has that kind of name with it.
Right.
And I'm going to do something a little bit different because a couple things. I had some realizations after last week's show, Mike. The first one being my mom doesn't listen.
Mine doesn't either. Yeah. So we're good.
So, and I'm pretty sure that none of my family listens.
Yeah.
So I had the second idea, just epiphany that kind of came to me was, we should just do the show that we want to do then. And I think that I focus too much on trying to explain and get people hooked in on the comics. Sure. And today I'm saying, fuck it. And I can say that too because my family's not listening and therefore they won't text me and judge me for my language. But I'm going to give you... Yeah, earmuffs. I guess it's kind of too late now.
Retroactive earmuffs.
Retroactive earmuffs. If you hear this, rewind it 30 seconds.
Rewind it and then cover your ears.
Yeah, and then you'll feel better.
Cover your children.
But I want to kind of just get you into the story of Gideon Falls instead of just explaining all of it.
Excellent.
Because it does have a slow start. But this is a book that ended up winning, I think it was the 2018, maybe 2019, like Eisner Award for Best Original Story. So unlike where I took a fantastic book and still, even if you listen to The Witches last week and think you know everything, I would still say pick it up because the way it's drawn, just everything. It's a great book.
Witches was very cool. Yep.
Gideon Falls has a very interesting concept to kind of get you into it. And so I'm going to help basically, lead you to the watering hole, but I'm not going to fish for you.
Okay.
You're going to have to fish yourself.
That's how that goes.
It's close enough to that.
Lead a horse to water, but you can't teach him to fish.
Exactly.
Sure.
But I have taught a horse to fish once.
Have you?
It was a dream, but
That's
still.
great.
So Gideon Falls, basically, it's
how do they hold the poles? That's on
their mouth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They just can't talk while they do it.
Okay.
So Gideon Falls is a book that is I'm trying to put like what class of horror it goes into, but I don't want to kind of, because I know after the 6th issue, it's in volumes right now. They're released by issue, but also they put together like 6 issues per volume. There's 6 volumes out right now. I read the first one.
Right.
The story centers around this black barn. And this black barn shows up in town every time something terrible happens in the town.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people don't believe it. Only certain people have seen it, kind of thing.
Sure.
And we are told 2 different stories that slowly in the first volume kind of lead towards to where they'll intersect. We don't know where it's going yet, but you would think they are.
Okay.
One is a man named Norton.
Is this the book you brought in last week?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the book I brought in last week.
I'm trying to think of what I saw, when I flipped through it. Yeah.
Norton we don't know a lot about him. We just know that he was found as a younger kid.
Sure.
So we don't know like his story before then, but he's been in and out of like, I don't want to call it, we talked about Michael Myers before we started the recording, and it's not like a, asylum like that, but he's been in and out of hospitals.
Okay.
They've been monitoring because he has like this obsessive compulsion in him. And what we see it of how it's manifested himself is he digs through garbage, but at first he didn't know what he was looking for, but now he's finding like nails and little pieces of wood and things like that. And he has dreams about this black barn.
Okay.
So he is gathering evidence that he's actually finding through the trash and stuff.
I see.
To prove to other people that he's not crazy.
Okay.
This black barn exists.
Piece of a black barn at a time.
His
tiny piece.
His therapist, because he has a therapist at the time, he's trying to talk to him to help him through his problems. Doesn't believe him. Is threatening, but thinks that maybe he needs to go back to the hospital, be better for him. He won't hurt others. It's better for himself, kind of thing. She, through the course of the story, somehow after Norton tells her about this, starts to see images of it as well. And so towards the end of the book, she comes around to believe him, and the 2 of them are trying to figure out what this thing is.
Yeah.
And Norton gets the idea with all the pieces that he's gathered that he's going to try to build the black barn to see what's inside.
He's got a lot of pieces.
Just slowly start rebuilding. He doesn't have enough to build the whole thing.
This is like the Johnny Cash song, One Piece at a Time.
Yeah, exactly. Which is one of my favorite Johnny Cash songs.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So that's one part of the story. The other more exciting part of the story for me was there is a old Catholic priest. We'll call him Father Fred. I think it's Father Willard. Funny enough, I think his name's Fred Willard.
Fred Willard.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking, it's Frederick Willard, but But Father Fred is sent to Gideon Falls. Like he's
one. Well, I can't let Fred Willard pass without saying.
Go ahead.
Fred Willard in both Best in Show,
yes,
and in Fernwood Tonight. I don't know if you've ever seen.
I've never seen Fernwood Tonight.
My God, just the greatest character.
Okay, but if
just the funniest.
I love him in anything Christopher Guest though.
Yeah, he's dead now, but sure.
Fred Willard died?
He did.
When?
It's been year and a half probably.
I think I knew that and I forgot.
He was on that Netflix comedy special with that weird dude.
He was. He played the organ.
He was the guy who was smashing dishes and playing the organ.
Bit too.
That was like the last. That was like the last thing he did.
Well, then it's funny enough that because it's hilarious. Like that's Fred Willard.
But he didn't look great then.
No,
he looked very, very old.
He didn't. But I always enjoyed Fred Willard.
God, I love Fred Willard.
But so
sorry.
No. It's
back to the priest.
That was an appropriate, like side quest, if you will. So he is basically the bishop. Sends him to Gideon Falls to take over for the previous priest.
What happened to the previous?
Passed away.
Okay.
We don't really know what. We just know that he was
crushed by a barn.
He was sick, maybe he died, kind of thing.
Sure.
Well, while he's out there, he's introduced to one of the congregation who asked him if he needs anything. No, he's fine. He's just trying to settle in this place. He doesn't really want to be here.
Gotcha.
The woman who is there to greet him into town ends up showing up dead. Last person who saw him was Father Fred. So the police take an interest in what Father Fred's doing here, kind of thing.
Okay.
He tells them, hey, I don't know. I just came across the body. I'm telling you. I had a dream while this is all happening. He has a dream of Father, I can't remember the other, I think it's Father Tom is the previous preacher that was there.
Father Martin Malt.
Basically standing in his bedroom with him and leading him outside to this black barn and to the fields. Like he sees the barn and then he sees the woman there. Reports it. Police don't believe him. Well, all except for one guy who's like, yeah, this black barn exists. It's a part of everything scary in this town. Go see the local doctor. He does go visit the local doctor.
It's a barn, for God's sakes. It's a big
barn,
thing.
But it appears and disappears.
Okay. It's very big, though.
It's a decent sized barn. Yeah.
Right. I mean, a barn, you got to get horses, cows, all that stuff into it, right?
Yeah.
Horses, I guess. You don't really put your cows in the barn, I guess.
The doctor tells him that this is, I mean, you could.
Get those cows out of that barn.
You can have a cow barn.
Sure.
The doctor informs Father Fred that this has been something that's plagued, them for a while, and there's a group of people who are there to fight it.
Fight the barn.
Fight, try to figure out what's wrong with it and let people know about it, and
So this barn just creeps the hell out of everybody.
Yes, it does.
Except the ones who doesn't think it's real.
And there is some, and it's great art. I wish I would have brought the book with me.
That was
today.
beautiful stuff I saw.
It was.
It's a lot of use of black.
Yes.
A lot of silhouettes and things like that.
And there is just a rough sketch of the black barn, and it has a completely red background, and it's red in the window, and you can see a face, and it's a creepy, just
that's cool.
black circle, just smiling face.
Yeah. Generic kind of.
It's kind of the same thing. Funny enough, we'll go ahead and bring up Michael Myers again, because when I watched the movies
that made us.
Yeah. When they were talking about the Michael Myers mask, he made the eye holes bigger because you don't want to see it's a blank, just it's not a face. It's supposed to be creepy, just blank, evil kind of look.
Right.
And that's how this drawing kind of is.
Black shark eyes kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So we know that whatever this evil entity is, it's, in the barn, and it's drawing either people to it to do evil things, because they tell the story about a serial killer in town.
Okay.
Who was said to be in and out of it.
And he lives right there.
Yeah, no. But they end up finding Father Tom.
Okay.
Who they thought was dead, covered in the woman's blood.
Oh, this is the original one.
Yeah, the original one.
Who didn't die.
No. Well, they thought he was dead, but apparently he can still somehow murder old ladies.
Okay.
So they're all kind of thrown off by this. But,
super priest.
Yeah, but they think, well, maybe because they thought that he had drowned. That's what it was. They thought he had drowned. They thought maybe he didn't. Maybe he'd gone crazy, kind of thing. And
fake
that's
drowning.
Yeah.
Sure.
All these things happen just to basically, Father Fred is sent on a journey of where he doesn't believe in this barn at all, even though he's presented with things, because he can't necessarily process and believe in that. But then somebody in the congregation ends up being affected by the barn.
Okay.
And ends up being taken in and killing his wife and himself, kind of thing.
It's just so weird when you say they're affected by the barn.
I know.
You know?
I just don't know how else to say it.
Well, yeah, I get it. I'm just saying, I'm thinking of a barn attacking people or whatever.
It's not, though. It's whatever evil is in the barn.
Gotcha.
Is affecting people. And it has basically, it riddled this man who was a part of his congregation's brain to just kind of whatever, where he killed his wife and he killed a cop and
Okay.
So basically what we're at a point is where Father Fred has gone from not believing into any of this to figuring out what in the world is this black barn. We need to go in and see. And Norton and his psychiatrists are trying to put it together.
Okay.
So after the first 6 issues, again, it's a slow start. So that's why I'm just trying to paint the opening picture.
I got you.
But from everything I've read afterwards, it is about to kick into high gear.
Okay.
So if you would like a very well drawn, because it was gorgeous, Gideon Falls is a gorgeous book. The story is really good.
Right.
It's just really slow at first.
Yeah.
It's kind of like,
well, it sounds like psychological horror kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
or there's a lot of buildup.
Yeah. And that to me can be really good if it's pulled off great.
Oh, sure.
And from the reviews I've read, it's pulled off really good.
Mm-hmm.
So Gideon Falls, again, I just want to do a quick little like, hey, if you're looking for something like this, it's a psychological thriller that obviously there is something extremely evil at the root of this town that is manifesting itself in a black barn.
There's a barn, yeah.
We don't know what. We don't know the story behind it, but we know that it is stirring up some crazy shit.
And the one that you brought in, that's just episode 1?
That's volume 1.
Volume 1?
Yep.
Wow.
Just called
was
the
pretty
Black
thick.
Barn. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
6
issues there.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 6
several
issues
times,
per
yeah.
volume. But so I would say give Gideon Falls a chance if you want to. Again, you want to just pick up volume 2, you can start there now that you know basically what happens in volume 1. Or if you just want to,
you got to read volume 1.
you got to read volume 1.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. I'll eventually bring it, and it can be part of our comic library, so you can just grab it whenever we get that done. So again, I just didn't want to spend a lot of time just breaking down everything in Gideon Falls to where you get nothing out of it when you read it.
Sure.
So hopefully I've at least teased it a bit. That was the first part.
I think you did a great job. I'm
thank you.
scared of all barns.
Well, barns are scary in general.
Sure.
But what I wanted to get to
All that
now.
grain.
Oh yeah, and animal feed.
Yeah.
Funny enough, see,
Milk.
I grew up. I guess you would have a milking barn.
Sure. Chicken dissemination barn.
I had a great uncle who actually owned a dairy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but they had stopped all that by the time I was born. Like they had retired by the time I was born.
You cows stop all that.
Yeah, you cows stop it. We don't want to. No,
we got enough milk. We're done.
But the beauty, I say the beauty. One of my favorite stories about this great uncle, who is my grandpa's brother, who had the dairy.
Yeah.
Is both he and my grandfather. My grandfather joined the Army.
Okay.
And he joined the Navy.
Okay.
But my great uncle didn't know how to swim.
Oh.
So he paid somebody. And when they announced, because what they did is they stood them all up against the wall, like at a swimming pool, and they would call out their name.
Yeah.
Like last name.
Sure.
And they'd go, they jump, they swim it, and they just time it, and they're, not paying attention. So he paid somebody who already went earlier. His last name was Rice. So he was later towards the end of it. He went earlier, and they said Rice, and the other guy did it, jumped in, did the swimming test for him, popped back up, and that's how he. So
holy crap!
Yeah, no, my great uncle was an innovator.
He doesn't sound like an innovator necessarily. It sounds.
I don't know.
Sounds like a cheat, but all right, sure.
I think it's a guy who knew how to win.
That's
Here's
two sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I'm just saying though, like people are Patriots fans.
Sure,
doesn't mean that Bill Belichick still doesn't cheat.
Well, that's true too.
But he is still considered a decent coach, even without that.
Sure.
I always thought that story was funny. So let's talk about DC Fandome now.
Yeah.
Mike.
Okay.
And
this is the event once a year where they introduce all the new crap coming out and show you all the previews and get you all hyped up.
And there's a lot of stuff that I saw.
Everybody gets to talk to Aquaman.
Exactly.
Sure.
There's a lot of stuff that I saw that I actually got excited for.
Yeah.
Some stuff I saw that I could care less about, not because it looks bad, but just because it's not necessarily my cup of tea. Like all the CW shows that they have, at one point in time, I was on, like when Arrow started, I started with it, and I started Flash a little bit, but over time, I just kind of, I don't think it's for me, and that's fine. Like,
my feed on my phone, like my Google News feed or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Every day it tells me about a different CW DC show, and I don't know that any of them exist. It's like the Teens of Tomorrow or something like that. I'm like, what is that?
Well, they showed a preview for Stargirl, which I knew they had at least done one season of. I knew that Luke Wilson was the dad in it. Amy Smart's apparently the mom in it.
Oh, really?
I'm just like, I didn't know either of these, like.
I didn't know the CW was still on, number one.
It's weird to me, too, though. It's like Luke Wilson and Amy Smart were both, like decent name size actors at one point in time, and now they're just parents in this. But
it's weird.
Either way.
It's kind of like when they did that Archie thing.
See, I haven't watched any of it. Don't they just, what did they call that? Riverdale. Yeah. So that's so goofy. I've accepted it though. Like I get it and it is goofy. Yeah. But I've accepted the fact that
somebody named Jughead on that show. And that's going to be serious show.
Well,
come on.
His
name is Jughead.
He was named Jughead in the comics.
And Moose.
But let's not forget that also Archie had Archie killed in like a school shooting too.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Archie, like even before the CW tried, like they had a guy in the comic who had AIDS who passed away. Archie tried to do heavy stuff beforehand.
But it's Archie.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I agree with you.
You put out a book for years that's just called Betty and Veronica.
I agree with you, but it's not all, like, Archie tried to be serious before. CW just did it again, too. But
that's like, hi, I'm Casper the Ghost for not using heroin. Don't do it, kids.
What?
Well, like, if Archie's getting serious, then shouldn't Casper the Ghost? And,
I thought you were saying... The kid, wait, so did Casper die from using heroin? Isn't he like a 7-year-old kid?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a very dark commercial, but
7-year-olds, please don't use heroin.
Don't use heroin, kids.
I didn't think we ever needed to say that, but apparently the world we live in, kids, say no to heroin.
I shot it in my eye.
Well, here, I just want to know too, because obviously, like the way they show when you watch movies like back in the 80s and stuff,
sure.
Like there's just drug dealers hanging around at schools and stuff all the time.
Absolutely, there are.
Which obviously,
scourge of our nation.
It depends where you went to school at, because there was never anybody around my school that like was the old guy who like hung around like, hey kids, you want some of this?
You just didn't know where to go.
Well, no, I graduated with a school where I only had 60-something people in my graduating class.
Well, one of them. 59 of them were fine, but one of them. Okay. Yeah.
I will tell. Sometimes, never mind. There's stories I need to say for myself. Just come to me in public. I am the world's worst of if you want to hear a story, I will tell you and not think about how it affects me. So if you see me in public and you're like, hey, Zach, tell us about that trip you had during high school economics class. I'll tell. No. Now I said that trip. We actually went on a physical car ride trip. It wasn't like I got.
Sure.
Yeah. I feel like I needed to.
He wasn't with Casper.
No. Yeah. But I'll just tell you in person.
All that started with Casper for heroin.
Yeah, Casper for heroin. Led it to the time. Shit. Who cares?
This is Sergeant Rock.
Where I got.
Sign up for the draft.
I still need to research. But if you join the Navy, you can pay somebody to swim for you. I don't even remember where kids don't do heroin. All right, let's get back. Okay, so DC Fandome. Man, that was a weird. Yeah. Oh, so CW has all these shows that it's just I've accepted the fact that it's not for me, and that's fine.
Right. I don't think they're canonical either. It doesn't feel like they're canonical.
No, it's different.
Like everything on Disney Plus, I feel like I need to watch, and even James Gunn has told me you better watch this holiday special or you won't get it because there's some canon here.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, I get that. But the DC stuff, man, come on.
But there is something kind of sweet about that, too, of knowing you can watch a show just to watch a show.
I guess. But here's my problem with those kind of shows. And this is, I'm speaking directly to Agent Carter. And what was the...
Agent Carter was a good show, though.
What was the other one that was on for a little bit longer?
The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yeah. So you never know when they're going to end, number one.
Yeah.
And if they end... they ain't ending right.
No.
They're going to end on some big cliffhanger or something. And then you're like, well, shit, what just happened? And so I feel like I've invested all this time in this thing that may not turn out to be a thing.
There's
if they wanted to do another Swamp Thing TV show, I'd watch that.
Oh, that was really good. See, and it's so funny because I saw people in the comments just because sometimes I get bored and I read comments and then I feel more stupid. But
you should feel better about yourself.
Well, yeah, I usually do. I'm like, man, I am nowhere near the asshole I thought I was.
You're like, man, I can spell.
No, I never think that. I'm just like, man, these people, they're on the same point as me when it comes to but one of them was like, I like DC for the movies, or I like Marvel for the movies, DC for the TV series. Okay. And I thought about that, and I was like, if they're talking about the stuff that's on HBO Max, like Doom Patrol. Or like Swamp Thing, or even Teen Titans.
I don't even know Doom Control. What is
Patrol.
That? Patrol. I don't know what that is.
Doom Control?
Control.
It's in your house.
It's one big
you
button.
You can just be like, do I feel like something?
No Doom today.
Yeah, exactly.
It's right above the oven.
No, there are a lot. And I think that's part of the problem too, that is given the people who aren't as nerdy and diehard as us, it gives them kind of just like, I'm so like tired of superhero stuff.
Passive comic book stuff they can watch. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm saying like I think that there is a little bit of just people being tired of comic book properties.
Sure.
Like some people.
Sure.
These are people who aren't necessarily big comic book fans to begin with.
That's why CSI and NCIS exist.
Yeah, exactly. But they're just like, oh, that's all we have. So they're not going to watch this. I think that this is for these TV shows are more for either the diehards who want to watch everything they put out.
Yeah.
Or like me in some instances, it's these characters that you love that you waited for so long to be portrayed in some way.
Gotcha.
And then now they're there. Sorry.
Doom Patrol, is that not DC's version of Suicide Squad?
Not really, because it's not, you know, how like Suicide Squad, like their whole thing, it's a suicide mission and we've planted bombs in your neck and stuff like that.
Suicide Squad is DC. Never mind.
That is DC.
Sorry.
Yeah. But no, this is more of just like a group of just misfits. It's like lovable misfits trying to learn and become the superheroes they are.
Okay, so they're good.
They are, and
but the word Doom is in it.
Yeah, the word Doom Patrol is in it.
Okay.
But that's just the book. Like Grant Morrison actually wrote a lot of Doom Patrol in the 80s. It's really, the show to me is really good.
Is it?
And yes, it's Teen Titans is good.
Teen Titans is animated though, right?
Sorry. It's just called Titans.
Okay. That's real
live action.
That's live action?
Yeah. That one's good.
I'm just not watching a lot of the animated stuff.
No. None of this is animated. This is all live action stuff.
Well, I understand. I'm just saying. There's so much of that.
Oh yeah,
that even goes over to Star Wars too. I don't watch that stuff.
No, but Doom Patrol to me is really good about. It has like the TV show is hilarious.
Oh yeah,
and it's also very heartfelt, and it's a really good like character study of these characters, and it's great performances from Brendan Fraser plays. His name's Cliff, and I cannot think of the robot's name right now. But
Beep Blorp.
And he's really good at that because he's a man who realizes that all that's left of him is a brain in a robot body, and it's him like learning to cope with that, and him thinking, you know,
just
like
his voice.
Yeah, it's him, and he plays himself in like flashback scenes before that happened.
Gotcha.
I mean, Matt Bomer's great. Timothy Dalton, like the cast is fantastic.
Timothy Dalton.
Yeah, he plays Niles Calder in it. It's out there. It's out. They have to team up with Danny the Street, which is not a nickname for a gangster. It is an actual living street.
Okay.
So it's wacky.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's hilarious because the main bad guy who calls himself Mr. Nobody is Alan Tudyk.
Oh, okay.
And there's so many fourth wall breaks in the show. It's like,
all right, I'll try it.
The very second episode, he's like recapping stuff that happened, and he goes, "I can't believe you idiots stayed after the donkey scene."
Wow.
He's like, basically, are you just trying to make the best use of your DC subscription? Kind of like it's great.
Was it on that DC channel?
It was, and then it moved to HBO Max.
Are they making more of them?
Yeah, no, their season 3 is about to come out.
Okay, all right, I'll try it.
I'll
try it.
I'm not saying you need to do it now. Doom Patrol's good. I'm
doing this right now. So,
well, yeah. So I say all that to say I saw the CW stuff.
Yeah,
it is what it is. I think it's Supergirl's last season, Lois and Clark season 2. Like, all right, that's cool.
How many times you doing that, by the way? Lois and Clark.
I mean, technically, I guess this is just the third.
I believe this is the third.
They did the Terry Hatcher and Dean Cain one.
Terry Hatcher. They did this one. I mean, don't you count Smallville as kind of that also?
Well, he dated Lana for a long time.
And wasn't there one more where it was just Superman and Lois or whatever about their...
I don't know. There was that Wonder Woman TV show with...
Linda Carter. You're thinking...
No, not that one. With... what's her name? Not Pilecki. Pilecki's the guy from Supernatural. The girl from Friday Night Lights.
Oh, yeah. I know you're talking about.
It was like they just did the...
Clear Eyes Full Heart, Can't Lose.
Yeah, pilot.
Clear
Eyes Full Heart, Can't Lose. So they showed all that stuff, but the big stuff that I want to get to... Oh, we'll get to after I brought up Ace the Bat Hound.
Yeah, these pets.
The Super Pets.
Talk about these pets.
The Super Pets trailer...
Because I'm telling you, anytime
is a pee joke. That is it.
Anytime a comic book line wants to really pull me in, make a show about their pets. That's
exactly
what I'm looking
but
for.
The teaser trailer was honestly
just all pee.
It was a pee joke.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. That looks great. They showed the teaser for Peacemaker, which we've talked about. Suicide Squad.
Love that.
That looks hilarious.
Yeah, that's great.
Even we saw the teaser and we talked about it last week, but even this one is better.
Oh, this is more?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, see, I haven't seen it.
Robert Patrick is going to play Cena's dad in
I love
this.
Robert Patrick,
There's a scene where, like, I'll just tell you this one scene that you see in the trailer, and I think it'll sell it for you even more. I know you're already into it.
Yeah, I'm into it.
But he's in the garage with Eagly.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the garage with Eagly, and Eagly wraps his like
gives
wings.
him a hug?
Yeah, and he's like,
nice.
He goes, Dad, he's giving me a hug. Take a picture. Dad.
That's fantastic.
So it's James Gunn. It's I watched some of the Q&A afterwards, and Steve Agee, who was a fantastic. I love Steve Agee.
Yeah.
He's been in everything, and he's always
Steve
hilarious.
Agee and Brian Posehn are like the same guy.
Yes.
One has more hair.
Agee has more hair.
I met Posehn at Comic-Con in San Diego one year.
Really?
Yeah, just walking down the aisle. It wasn't like he was putting on a thing or anything. He was just walking down the aisle.
Nice guy?
Yeah, very nice.
He seems like a nice guy.
Yeah, he stopped and talked to us for a couple
Funny
minutes.
enough, I love the show, or my wife and I were fans of the show New Girl. Both of them in New Girl.
Yeah, New Girl was great.
He plays, I have to remember Steve Agee's name because a lot of times I just call him Outside Dave.
Yeah.
Because that was his character
Right.
in New
That's
Girl.
right, yeah.
And so, but
he's not homeless. He's outside.
he's
Dave.
Outside Dave.
That's
Yeah.
right.
But so the Peacemaker series looks fantastic.
It does.
And then they showed I guess, first teaser for, this is the one thing of the three big things that we'll talk about to close out the show. It was 3 trailers we got. 2 I liked. 1 I'm very iffy on.
Okay.
They showed a Black Adam,
I saw that.
like the first time you meet Black Adam scene, I guess.
Or he disintegrates the guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I get it. And I get what they're trying to do.
Sure.
And I know how people think that it could be great. The thing that rubbed me the wrong way, and this is probably all just me. 1, when Dwayne Johnson was introducing it and they kept calling him the Man in Black for Black Adam.
Yeah.
I've never, unless I've just not read enough Black Adam, I don't remember them ever calling him the Man in Black.
No.
And so that was just kind of weird.
I think that's a PC clarification is what that is.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying?
I do see what you're saying now.
Because it's a troublesome name to begin with.
It is a very troublesome name.
You know?
Because it's not, like, just hearing it, you think that it's ATOM.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay, that's,
But when you see it's 80 a.m.,
You're just kinda like,
wait a minute. How
like,
old is
why-
this movie?
Yeah. Well, and either way, so that's one thing that I didn't, them referring to him as the Man in Black. But
Right,
I get that. That makes sense in why they would do that.
Sure.
Though. So then I can understand why they pushed that. It was just weird to go with that.
It was cool looking. The thing that I thought while I'm watching it, though, is I'm like, Shazam was so fun.
Yes.
And now this is so evil.
Well,
looking.
and that's the thing,
and
too.
I'm like, how do they put those two together?
And they made Black Adam look like Superman.
Yeah.
That was the other thing I looked at, was just like, it's another Superman movie.
Yeah.
And
I just don't want to see them screw up Shazam, honestly, because that first Shazam is fantastic.
I
man.
saw
It's just so good.
They did do behind the scenes of
The new
the
one?
second one.
Yeah.
And for me, it feels like it's going to be fun.
Good.
So I am stoked about that because they call it like
It's
Battle of the Gods or
it's
something
all
like
the
that.
other little Shazams getting their powers.
Yeah,
and
it's
going
all
through their
it's all the
stuff and all
Shazams
that,
together
yeah.
and all that. But
Which is getting real Green Lanterning on me.
it kind of is. But at least I like that it's the other foster kids though, so it's easier to at least kind of.
Yeah.
But that's not the point.
I just love that it's Chuck.
Oh yeah,
I just love the fact that
dude,
we
I love
didn't
Zachary
see
Levi.
Chuck forever,
No.
and then all of a sudden here he was a Shazam.
Dude, he's Shazam, and he's also playing Kurt Warner in a. Have I
is
talked
he
to you
really?
about this?
Oh no,
On Christmas Day,
Kurt Warner.
there is a Kurt Warner movie coming out.
Oh, how heartwarming!
And here's the thing: we get a Chuck reunion in a way in this movie because for some reason they have Zachary Levi. I guess they add some effects, but he kind of plays in some of the scenes high school Kurt Warner too.
No.
But his coach is Adam Baldwin.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we get a Chuck Casey kind of team up again randomly.
Yeah.
It does not look good, and that is not. That's
not part of DC fandom.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Sure.
But I'm saying that's also not too, because like Dennis Quaid's in it too, which randomly enough, I saw him in a bathroom just a couple months ago in Austin. We went and ate at a Mexican food place and
Just
washed hands next to him.
Any of those biopics are tough.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I don't think it's the actors, obviously.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying that like, oh, Kurt Warner's story is just shit. That's not it. I'm
I think
looking
you
at
ought
it.
to wait till they die to make
Well,
their movie. Honestly,
I have a hard time watching biopics
yeah.
on people unless it's like a big historical figure.
Right. Kurt Warner is not necessarily that.
No, and I'm not.
Other than the fact that, I mean, he was bagging groceries and all that stuff. I get it.
It is a very
great story.
Inspirational story.
Sure.
And I get like they're turning it's just not for me.
Right.
So, but if you're into those things, then go see it. But Zachary Levi also plays Kurt Warner in this new Kurt Warner movie.
Excellent.
But the new ones, it's Battle of the Gods or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The two villains for the new Shazam movie, Lucy Liu, Helen Mirren. And they play like old gods, but also they went through and they talked about like some of the old, like they're going to see like mythological creatures that they battle. Like there's like, I think I saw a hippogriff, and so it's going to be.
God bless you, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Sure. Sorry. It just sneaks up on me sometimes. So I think it is going to be a fun movie.
Yeah.
And it's going to be them battling like these creatures and stuff like that. So I don't think it's going to be too serious.
Okay, good. I just don't want this all of a sudden Black Adam showing up and, then they have to homogenize.
Eventually
Shazam.
They're going to be in the movie together.
That's what I'm saying. Then they have to homogenize Shazam, bring him up to like a serious superhero so they can fight this bad guy. They don't Superman it. That's what they did with Superman, and it's not great.
Well, and
because those Superman movies from the 70s and 80s, they were great.
Yeah.
He didn't look like Superman, no. But that's kind of the point.
It's funny. Remember,
it was so much more fun.
Remember that point, though, you just made, because I'm going to bring it up before we close the show. He didn't look like Superman.
He did not look like Superman, yeah.
The other thing is sometimes I worry with The Rock being a part of this.
Yeah.
If
blanket statement to everything.
Well,
with The Rock being a part of this.
Because Jungle Cruise.
Come on.
I'm not going to talk about the movie. I'm talking about his performance.
Okay.
He was decent in Jungle Cruise, his performance.
Okay.
Not bringing up the story or anything like that. But it feels like sometimes these comic companies rewrite how much a part of things comic book characters are.
Yep.
And it feels like that is what is going to happen with Black Adam.
They rewrite it to fit the person they've chosen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's funny because funny might not be the word. It just it hits me wrong just because I watch it and it's just different than the mythology or the canon that I know, which is fine. But so that's why I'm kind of iffy on Black Adam. Then we saw The Flash. Now, I love Ezra Miller.
I have not seen that preview. I saw that it was available, but I didn't want to ruin the Batman Flash meeting for myself.
So you don't want to watch it then?
No. I want to watch the movie. What I'm saying is
you don't want to watch the trailer.
The preview, I'm like, it'll screw it up for me.
It does. I mean, so do you? I'll try to talk.
No. You can talk about it. It's fine. I just don't want to see it necessarily.
No, it doesn't.
You understand what I'm saying? I think I've said this before that previews for me today give away the entire movie.
No, there's a lot of things that I think it was more of a teaser than a trailer.
Right.
So you hear a voiceover the whole time, and it's Michael Keaton's voice.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah. Super excited.
So, and you hear him talk about like, if you can go anywhere in time, like, why did you choose where you went?
Yeah.
And we get a scene too of, it's just like little tidbits of things. Like Barry Allen goes and it looks like he thinks he's in a dream kind of, because he goes to touch his mother, which just real quick, Barry Allen is Barry Allen. If you haven't watched anything Flash-wise, his dad's in jail for the murder of his mother.
Right.
His father did not kill his mother. It was an old Flash villain. It's Professor Zoom, Dr. Zoom, Eggboard, whatever, Reverse Flash, whoever. You know.
Reverse Flash is what
Reverse Flash. Yeah. It depends on what. But so Flash villain killed him. There's a storyline called Flashpoint where through strings of events, Flash time changes. And Flash's mother does not die.
Okay.
And it's this different,
Gotcha. Sure.
So it's in a process, I think, of him trying to save something. He runs back a little bit too, it's one of those
what's ironic to me is
switch timelines kind of.
Yeah. Is that this and Spider-Man Far From Home are
happening at the same time?
Yeah. I'm like, it's the same movie.
Well, Spider-Man beat him to it.
Yeah.
And that's going to be DC's problem too, is you're going to watch it and be like, oh, we already saw this done better.
Sure.
That is DC's problem with a lot of things.
It
is
is.
because all of their problems that they're having to deal with, it is putting them farther behind Marvel, even in storylines. Because I think like this whole multiverse thing is going to be cool.
Yeah.
But to me, the Flashpoint storyline is a lot cooler because it affects so many more DC characters you already know.
Yeah.
In the story, in Flashpoint, like when he does this, his mother is alive. But everybody knows the whole origin of Batman and Bruce Wayne. With Butterfly Effect, you change one thing, something else happens.
Sure.
The alley that night, Joe Kill doesn't kill his parents. He shoots Bruce Wayne, and both the parents live. Like somehow through the commotion, the kid gets shot.
Yeah, you've told me this before, I think. Yeah.
So it's a very interesting story. Yeah, because Martha Wayne ends up becoming the Joker. Thomas Wayne becomes
that's right.
Batman, but it's a different kind of, I don't care. I'll kill you. He's a very ruthless
Just all
Batman.
vengeance. Yeah.
So it looks like that's what we're getting.
Speaking of vengeance.
We'll get there.
I got you.
We'll get there. So that is the thing I'm most excited to talk about.
Sure.
But it's great. You see it where he goes, like he thinks he's in a dream to touch this woman's shoulder. You think that his mom, and the hand actually hits on her, and she turns around, and that's where the scene cuts.
Oh.
Like it was doing perfect stuff like that, actually.
Yeah.
Like there's a scene where Barry Allen has like, you can tell it's over this car.
Right.
And he goes to pull it away, and it just like, in theaters, whatever, 2022.
Oh,
I
cool.
know that's the Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Really?
There. And that's what made it so cool. It's because like I know. So I think that the Keaton voiceover and everything, I think this is going to turn out to be really good. I'm stoked about that.
Why does Ezra Miller dress so weird?
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
No. I was about to say that the very eccentric Ezra Miller popped up to introduce the
jean jacket.
Is he wearing a choker again? He likes to wear chokers.
Yeah, low shirt and a choker.
But you know what?
His glasses and he looks more like a Batman villain in real life.
We watched it. I was watching it with my wife.
Sandman is who he looks like.
And she said, "Is he going to play John Lennon in a biopic?" Because he kind of looks Lennon-y.
He does kind of look Lennon-y. Yeah.
But he is very eccentric. But as an actor, I've loved everything Ezra Miller's in. Yeah. So
okay.
I mean, he can do
I trust him.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Even with these DC movies, I trust them until they fail me.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they've failed me.
Yeah.
So
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But
here's the thing. And I think I've said this before. The Marvel thing, starting with Iron Man, freaks me out anyway. Because Iron Man was never like the man, in comic books, right?
He was part of the Avengers, but that was it.
And he was always the one that let everybody down and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
I never would have thought they would boot off the whole MCU stuff with him. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
But
I think, honestly, DC has something here that they could come off of the Flash and build that same kind of thing, but I don't know that they recognize that.
I don't think they do. I don't know
he's
what
their Spider-Man, he's their Iron Man, he's their whatever.
He is, because he's funny.
It's exactly right.
That was one of the bright spots in Justice League. Was Barry Allen was funny, legit funny.
They all left, yeah, that kind of thing. Yeah.
So that was some of the best parts for me.
That's why people love Spider-Man and stuff and even Iron Man, because he's a dick, but he's a great guy. All that kind of stuff.
And it's so I'm with you there. So I'm stoked to see what the Flash turns out to. Granted, we still got a little bit of time because
I hope it's a thing.
It's still in production technically. I think they've had so many delays in this movie with the Flash, so we'll see how that happens. But it looks good what we saw, and then we get our feast, our main course. I liked it so much I would like to call it our dessert, and that is the Batman trailer. And what it did is I have been
a lot of skepticism going into this thing.
A lot of skepticism. And that is why I said I wanted you to remember he doesn't look like he could play Superman, but it still turned out to be a fun, great movie.
I get that.
The teaser before that, when I showed the original one, and I think the original teaser trailer is fantastic too. I love Paul Dano as an actor.
Yes.
And I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic as the Joker.
Right. Now
that we've seen more of Colin Farrell as Penguin, I think his Penguin's actually really good.
I hope so.
It's a small clip, but
Penguin's one of my favorites. So I hope
but I didn't see any stupid, like he just seems like a shorter, heavier set,
you still got
crime boss. A little bit.
Come on.
No, I mean, I'm sure there'll be some. Like you can tell he's putting on a voice.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm sure there'll be some.
All right.
But I don't want it to be like Burgess Meredith. How about Burgess Meredith? Yeah. Who I say that, and then as I'm thinking about it, I love him as the Penguin. So,
Danny DeVito was fantastic.
Oh yeah. See, there's always been, and even in that, for some reason, Penguin's been the one that they've gotten right for the most part.
Yeah.
But he looked good.
Even in Gotham, Penguin is decent.
He is.
Yeah.
Because they gave him the water, there's things.
And he was just creepy.
He is.
He should be creepy.
And
he lives in the freaking water with penguins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we got the trailer, and we got to see more Catwoman in it, which is, I just don't know. Like it shows some stuff, and it's kind of like
she feels like an add-on.
She does. She does a little bit, but I wonder if some of that's just the trailer too.
It could be.
But she feels more kind of like Anne Hathaway did as Catwoman.
It feels okay. So really impressed with the trailer.
Yeah,
I got you. I am. I was as well, right? But it just feels like a lot.
There is a lot.
There's a lot in there. And unless this movie is 3 hours long, I'm going to have a tough time with them killing off Penguin or killing off Joker or killing off Riddler in one movie.
Well, Joker's not going to be in it.
Well, you know what you don't know that because he goes, the initial scene in the trailer is him fighting a bunch of clown guys.
That is true.
So who knows?
That is true. I look at that more as like just a street gang, because kind of in like,
I hope so.
The Dark Knight Returns, at least in the comics, like he had the mutants be a street gang, and so they all kind of look. And so I wonder if maybe it's something like that, kind of like, or
I just don't know if movies are that nuanced, you know.
well, here's the thing that changes this all up too.
Yeah.
And it's part of, I can get into the real quick of, you said, or we talked about, and one of the complaints is, oh, Rob Pattinson doesn't look like Batman.
Yeah, sure.
Which is great. That's fine if you want to have that argument. I would point that out to all those people who now also tell me that Heath Ledger is the best Joker, that when he was cast, they were all like, oh, the guy from Knight's Tale is going to play the Joker.
Everybody hated it. Yeah.
So don't come at me with that. No. If the movie comes out and he is terrible, then you can say what you want to. But at this point, like, give it a shot.
Yeah, to be honest with you, that kind of stuff doesn't bother me. I think I'll give Robert Pattinson, even though I called him Sparkly Batman and all that stuff, I get wanting to go younger with Batman. I completely get it, because you're trying to put together another at least trilogy or whatever.
And you have to, I mean, if we're thinking about this is supposed to be Bruce in his first year as Batman. Mm-hmm. So like, think of Batman Begins more than The Dark Knight Rises or just The Dark Knight. Yeah. Like, where he's coming back to Gotham. He's only been back in Gotham not that long.
Right.
Like, he's probably still a broody, like, I don't know what to do, because he's still figuring it all out. Mm-hmm. So, like,
I love the black around his eyes too, by the way.
Yes.
Because I'm always like, no, you didn't just take that cowl off and there's nothing there. Come on.
Exactly. There are small things like that I appreciate.
Yeah.
I loved that at the scene, you can tell at the beginning that they're also limiting. Well, I say I love this because it goes along with how you feel like trailers ruin movies. Mm-hmm. Have we seen Paul Dano really straightforward as the Riddler?
No.
We see that one scene where he's got like duct tape all over his face kind of thing with his glasses seen through. Yeah. And then when they arrest him in the coffee or at the diner, and you see the question mark in the coffee cup, you don't really see him.
No.
So I'm thinking, like, I love the fact that we still haven't seen a lot. Even the movie posters that they have that I've seen has a question mark.
Outlines,
and he's kind of like stuff back in the background. Mm-hmm. So it feels to me like they're saving stuff still in a way.
Oh, no, I agree. Well, and I read a thing. Well, I read the headline. The other day where they were talking about this movie being more like a horror movie. It looks very Seven-ish to me.
And I love Seven,
which I think is fantastic. If you're gonna take Batman in a dark tone, then let's go. I'm all for that.
Do this, and then after you get by this one, if you could do
Killing Joke.
Well, not even Killing Joke. I want to see the Court of Owls. You know, we talked last week about the witches. Mm-hmm. Scott Snyder wrote the Court of Owls storyline, which is a great, just kind of, I kind of got a little I don't want to say upset because I wasn't upset at all, but the new video games, because DC also showed the new video games they were coming out with. Rocksteady's making a Suicide Squad game where you are supposed. It's called Kill the Justice League.
You're fighting against evil Superman.
Yeah, which looks fantastic. And Rocksteady made all those Arkham games for Batman, so I'm sure it'll be great. But then Warner Brothers is making a new Batman game, but it's like the Bat family. It's called Gotham Knights, and it's Batgirl, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Robin. That's who you can play with.
Gotcha.
But they're going up against the Court of Owls. And the trailer for that looks fantastic because the Court of Owls story would make a great Batman story. And or like movie.
Right.
And I'm hoping that if this Batman works, that maybe they can do that. Because basically, it is also another story like that of where it's a horror tale about the group who secretly like runs Gotham in the shadows, which is the Court of Owls.
Right.
Like even back when Bruce's parents were around and stuff. So they always have a hand in everything.
Okay.
And they have these
kind of like the thing in The Simpsons. With Mr. Burns.
Oh,
they run everything. They're like the Illuminati.
And then they have these trained assassins.
I like how you've had to look at me like 3 or 4 times.
No, it's fine.
This episode,
because then after you explain it, I'm like, oh,
figure out
now
what
I get
I'm
it.
saying. Yeah.
They have these trained assassins called the Talon.
Okay.
Who's just like is super hard for Batman to defend, and he like pops out of the shadows, and it's all super creepy, and they all wear owl masks, and it would work so well. But I agree with you. Looking at this, there's a darker tone to it. It just feels, I'm sorry, when I say there's a darker tone to it, that's kind of an oxymoron because it's Batman and every Batman movie they've made has a darker tone. Yeah. It's not, it looks though like it's not darker just for the sake of being dark.
Right.
It looks like
it's more horror-ish.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I love it. I don't know why. Yeah. I'm hoping that I'm not setting myself up for it.
Did you notice that the only light scenes, like the ones that are bright, are with Catwoman?
No. Yeah. I realize that now that you brought it up.
Yeah,
because
when he's talking to
Catwoman,
it's more like Daybreak and all this stuff. I just wonder if she's in it hardly at all, and this is more of a how he met her kind of thing, down the road.
And maybe she can show up in the...
Well, and maybe there's some maybe this gives him some light as such a dark, brooding, whatever, I don't know if they're going that deep, but it just seems like it'd be cool.
The 2 things I think we need to bring up before we close out are just 2 things we brought up outside.
All right.
One is I love the fact that Colin Farrell as the Penguin is running away and there's a huge explosion behind him.
Yes.
And he goes, I got him. Yeah. And then just out of the flames.
Yep.
And the look on his face, like
in that badass Batmobile, by the way.
Yes, that everybody shitted on to begin with.
I didn't. I'm good.
No. But I mean, it was done in a way of where that can be done really cheesy.
Yeah.
But it didn't. It felt really good.
No, it felt cool.
And then I've always been a fan of just great stylized action shots and action scenes.
Sure.
Like, the hallway scene in Daredevil. Mm-hmm. There's like Daredevil has multiple ones that they did a really good job of how the camera, pans around as he's going room to room, beating people up.
What is it? What's the one on Netflix where all the kids are superheroes?
Is it animated?
But they're orphans also. No.
Oh, Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. So that second season where they're fighting in the hall and the Kiss song is playing.
Okay. See, I haven't watched the second season.
God.
See, I loved in the first season where he's fighting at the donut shop and it's They Might Be Giants. Freaking Istanbul playing in the background, which was I just nerded out over because of that too.
And then in the second season, there's one where they're fighting in this hall against these trained assassins or whatever. And that I Was Made for Loving You Kiss song is playing the whole time. It's so good.
I love those scenes. Yeah. There's what is it in the first Kingsman movie where Colin Firth in the church is it's Freebird.
Yes.
Oh, that's great when he
and this is an aside, I'm sorry, but I'm looking forward to that new Kingsman movie.
Oh, I am too.
Yeah. Even though the second one sucked.
See, I just read about the second one, but I enjoyed the first one a lot.
Part of the plot in the second one was somebody hiding something in their
that was like brought up in the...
That was part of the movie.
All right. Well, I'll get to that eventually. You did say
There you go.
No, I said it because you said it.
Well, I'm just saying.
Well, that's the kind of podcast this has turned into.
Bye, Mom. That was...
she stopped listening after I dropped an F-bomb.
That was part of it. And I was just like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever watched.
But there's a scene in the Batman trailer where he's fighting and it looks like a tunnel.
Yes, where it lights up with all the shots.
With the gunshots. And it looks so good.
Bam. Yeah, it's so good. It's timed right. It's
Yes.
just so cool. Yeah.
So I don't know plot wise if Matt Reeves is going to give us a great Batman, but visually it looks
Gorgeous.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So that was everything that I remember seeing from DC Fandome.
The Fandome.
That I wanted to talk about. Mainly just the Batman and Flash look good. So was there anything else that?
I think that's it, man. The Batman just looks fantastic to me. Do you know who wrote it?
I mean, I know Matt Reeves is directing it. I think he wrote it too.
Did he really?
I think so. Yeah.
Let me look. I always look at that because I don't know. I just enjoy good writing, and when you get to something like this, I feel like, yeah, Matt Reeves, Peter Craig, and others. I don't
know who the others are.
Yeah, I don't know what Peter Craig did.
I don't either. I know at one point in time he wanted to do a long Halloween story.
Peter Craig did Bad Boys for Life, Mockingjay.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the first Bad Boys. I was like, all right.
The Town, Top Gun Maverick. So that
The Town was with wasn't that Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner?
And then Matt Reeves, of course, with all the Planet of the Apes stuff.
Yeah, and those have been good actually.
And Cloverfield, you got to trust him for Cloverfield.
Yeah,
that's one
like
of my
he has made, and that's the thing is those Planet of the Apes movies. Even though I haven't watched all of them, the ones that I have seen some of, they're very good. They are good, but they are also like they look fantastic.
And they're darker versions of the Planet of the Apes story too, which I think is cool.
I say I'm just going to give them trust. I'm just going to trust the process right now. Like Joel Embiid, and we'll see if Batman works out.
No point does Mark Wahlberg show up.
No.
In the new ones.
No, not that I know of. Wait, was he in the old ones?
He was in that one where he was like the main guy, remember?
Oh, you're talking about Planet of the Apes. I was thinking about Batman.
Oh, no. Mark hasn't been given a turn to play Batman yet.
What?
Yeah.
Because he's the one where it's the Lincoln.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that that wasn't Burton, was it?
It's Tim Burton, yeah.
That one's not good.
That one made me very sad. Went to see it in the theater with my dad, and I just remember going, man, this sucks.
Wow.
Instead of Damn Dirty Apes at the end or whatever, it's that like, Lincoln thing.
Yeah, the Lincoln Memorial with an ape.
Come on. I sat through this whole thing, and that's what you're giving me? Man,
all right. So that was
fun. I like that. I like this 2-part thing.
No,
Every once in a while.
I don't know what we're gonna. I feel like we can talk like
has the Comic-Con shit all hit the fan or not yet?
What for?
Comic-Con? Is it going on now?
I mean, like they've had stuff.
Oh, I don't know when the official.
I don't remember. It used to be like in what, June, July.
Here's when Comic-Con starts.
Yeah, I don't know now.
Okay.
I just knew that the DC Fandome, like I knew we were going to get a new Batman trailer and stuff. So but I think another piece of news I read this week is I think we're supposed to have a Doctor Strange trailer by December.
Man, at this point.
But who is
we've talked about it before, but at this point Marvel's just so head and shoulders above.
Yeah, like I'll just watch whatever they put out. But so that was this week's episode, Bros, Foes, and Heroes.
Yep.
You can catch us or you can find us on Instagram, Bro Foe Hero, Bros Foes Hero.
Yep.
And
there
then you can it's one of those two. Just Google it. I'm pretty sure we're the only ones with that name.
Sure.
So if there's a Bros Foe Hero 1, that's not us.
That ain't it.
Also, feel free to email us, brosfoesandheroes@gmail.com. Nobody's done that yet, and that makes me really sad.
Oh, come on, guys. Send an email.
And I'm fighting back tears right now.
I got to come up with a fake email account just so I can send you something.
No, that would be nice, but don't tell me what it is.
Okay. No, I won't.
Yeah. Listen in next week when Mike catfishes me as one of our only listeners on the show.
That's right. That's it.
But we appreciate you taking the time out to listen.
Always fun.
And
always
love doing the show. It's
yeah.
it's my nice little getaway from the week. So
I get it.
Hopefully it was at least entertaining for others. But thanks for listening. Stay safe, and we will catch you next time.
Comic-Con!
Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about Bros and Foes and Heroes. Gonna tell you about.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.